They set up the camera because someone or something kept opening the back door at night. A dozen uploads, 8 clips we could not ignore. Each one begins ordinary. A homeowner checking a door, a shopkeeper rewinding a night shift feed, a mother listening to her baby monitor. Each ends with a frame that will not let the witnesses sleep. These are accounts gathered from TikTok, YouTube, and Reddit threads. Names are kept to handles or first names to protect privacy. Where small details are reconstructed for flow, they are presented as plausible reconstructions based on what uploaders reported. Before we get into the footage, stay with us until the end. Hit subscribe and like if you want more compilations like this. Source: TikTok. Uploader: @Luna Mercado. Reported location: small town outside Puebla, Mexico. She installed the camera after the front door latch was found undone 3 mornings in a row. She lived alone. She said at first she suspected a neighbor, a forgetful cleaning crew, or animals. She set the camera to record overnight on a low power mode and checked the next morning with coffee in hand. The clip is grainy. Night vision bathes the hallway in washed-out greens. The timestamp blinks at the bottom. At 03:14, the latch clicks. The front door edges open a sliver. No footsteps. The motion sensor pings once, then nothing moves. Outside the field of view, a dark shape crosses the doorway. Not tall, more like a smear. It does not cast a shadow on the floor. The door swings wider on its own, then gently closes. Her voice paraphrased. She said she replayed it a dozen times. She felt the hair rise on her arms. She told a neighbor the next day, and he shrugged, said maybe wind. She had no drafty windows. After the 3rd night, she stopped sleeping there. She packed a bag and stayed with family for a few days. She later uploaded the clip with a short caption, "I can't explain this." The comments on TikTok debated draft physics and bad pixels. Some asked about the lock's mechanism. She reported she had a locksmith inspect the door. No tampering found, and then changed the latch. The feeling she described afterward, like I had been watched. Next, we have a downtown convenience store owner who began recording after shelves were knocked over without anyone on the footage. Source: YouTube. Uploader: channel name anonymized as Night Shift Watch. Urban convenience store, Midwestern U.S. He left the overnight camera rolling after 2 nights of petty thefts. The staff suspected kids. They tagged the clip and posted it to the channel with a brief note. This happened on a Tuesday when I was restocking. The footage is calm at first. Fluorescent lights hum. A soda cooler breathes with mechanical clicks. At 2:07, a jar falls from a high shelf. The camera shakes slightly as if bumped. In slow-motion replay, the jar tilts outward as if a hand had nudged it. Nothing is visible passing between the aisles. A shadow slides along the end cap, not a human silhouette, but a darker band that moves opposite the light source. Then the camera audio catches a metallic clink, and a shelf bracket loosens and collapses, sending a cascade of candy bars to the floor. The owner said he checked the live feed from home and saw nothing obvious. He rewinds the clip and notices the brief band of darkness. He described a cold feeling in the store the days after, and a spike in petty incidents that could not be explained by cameras. His insurance counted the damage as minor. He told the channel he keeps the store lights on now and added an extra camera by the corner. The video ended with him asking viewers if they'd seen similar footage. Many suggested electrical interference or a prank, while a few commenters insisted the movement had weight. Source: Reddit, posted to r/paranormal, uploader cleaning mom, suburban house, England. She left her Roomba and a cheap action cam running because small things kept falling off a mantel. Her children had been subtly unsettled and kept saying, "The lady is crying." She did not want to make a spectacle, so she posted the footage to a private forum and later to Reddit. The clip shows a living room bathed in amber from a street lamp. The Roomba bumps along. A framed photograph tilts, then rights itself. 5 minutes later, the action cam, pointed at the mantel, catches a pale smear like breath on glass. A translucent outline seems to press near the frame, and then a soft sound, like fabric dragged, registers on the microphone. The Roomba brushes against the mantel moments later, as if nudging something invisible. She wrote, paraphrased, "The children refused to sleep alone after that. They would wake and whisper about a woman at the end of the bed." She called a local priest and an older neighbor who mentioned an old rumor about the house's previous occupant. She stopped short of calling it a haunting in her post, laying out the facts and letting the subreddit debate. The aftermath was practical. She sold the house months later and said she could no longer tolerate the presence while trying to parent. Source: TikTok, uploader @RV Ramblings, user identified as solo traveler, footage from inside a camper van, western U.S. He was parked on a quiet stretch of highway. He recorded the interior at night, batteries and candles set aside, because he had heard pacing on the roof above the sleeping area. He shared the clip with a short caption, "I don't camp like this anymore." Night vision again. The ceiling hatch rattles at 01:46. A slow knock follows, 3 taps, then 2. The camera audio picks up a muffled whisper that the uploader later described as syllables he could not make out. The van's internal lamp flickers twice in sync with the knocks. On replay, the hatch's shadow seems to dip inward as if something leaned from above the canvas. He said he spoke aloud to the roof, then to himself, asking who was there.
Guia de estilo e instruções para a síntese de fala. Você é um narrador, palestrante, com voz potente, forte e autoritária. O tom deve ser firme e inabalável. Contexto de continuidade. A frase anterior era "The roof, then to himself, asking who was there." Você está no meio de uma frase-pensamento. Mantenha o ritmo e a força vocal, sem quebrar a conexão. Haja como se estivesse transmitindo uma verdade fundamental. Source: YouTube Shorts. Uploader: Maria Solo. Apartment Balcony, Santiago, Chile. Uploaded with partial translation. Neighbors in a mid-rise had been hearing footsteps on balconies above a particular unit. Maria, who lives 2 floors below, set her phone to record the balcony at night after hearing what she described as someone walking in circles above her ceiling. The clip is vertical. The metal railing catches the moon. At 00:39, a faint figure appears on the balcony 2 floors up, white, thin, and only as high as the railing. It moves with jerky motions. The camera perspective shakes as Maria leans over. She narrates softly in Spanish, paraphrased here. She said she could not sleep for days. She told us she banged on the ceiling and called the landlord, who found nothing. The figure steps back off frame and the balcony light extinguishes without apparent cause. After posting, several neighbors chimed in. One recalled an elderly woman who had once lived on that floor and had died years earlier. Another dismissed the clip as poor-quality artifact. Maria said owners offered to have the building checked for structural issues. Nothing was found. She moved a shelf to block the door to her own balcony and took to leaving a light on. Source: TikTok, private uploader, anonymized by request. Child involved, location withheld. A family uploaded a muted clip from a baby monitor because their toddler kept pointing at an empty corner and saying, "The lady says hello." They asked anonymity, and we honored it. The footage is short and carefully edited by the uploader. The monitor shows the crib in soft night light. At 03:02, a pale shape moves at the edge of the monitor's view. No clear face, more like a drifting veil of white. The toddler stirs and giggles in sleep, then, as if replying to something out of frame, murmurs two words. The parents recorded this and did not add further commentary. They wrote that they were frightened enough to sleep in the same room for a week and to consult a counselor for the toddler's disrupted nights. We treat this segment with special care. The family asked viewers not to mock, and the clip was shared to seek understanding. Many responses suggested sleep-related hallucinations in children or infrasound effects. A few said it was proof of afterlife communication. The parents later reported no harm and ultimately repositioned the crib and installed a small night light. They asked viewers to be respectful. Source: Reddit, uploader, backlot keeper. Abandoned fairground, outskirts of a southern city. Urban explorers often leave cameras running.